In today's session, the topic I will presenting is the possibility of animality, human and non-human internal world, gradual 3. Dr. Miyata and Yamada both have introduced the writer Ishimure Michiko and her two works. I believe that everyone has a basic understanding of Ishimure, and I will also begin with a brief introduction of another work of Ishimure. I hope that you will learn more about this writer. The title of the work is Eternal World, which currently has no English translation. I will translate as Fish of Heaven. It was originally serialized in March 1972 as the third part of Guajodo. It's a magazine Tenbo, which can be translated as Foresight. Tenbo is a comprehensive Japanese magazine of thoughts and forums. It not only published essays by influential thinkers and scholars, but also serialized some literature and reportage, which had a wide impact on young people in 1970s. The serialization of Eternal War was completed in 1973 and first published in book form in November 1974. The main context of Eternal War centers around the independent negotiation movement of Minamata disease patients. In October 1971, the Minamata disease patients led by Kawamoto Teruo were dissatisfied that the Chiso company, which caused Minamata disease, entrusted the issue of compensation to Japanese government instead of apologizing or admitting their responsibility to the patients. Therefore, some of Minamata disease patients decided to negotiate directly and independently with Chiso company by themselves. Ishimure's writing coincided with the process of independent negotiation movement. As the actual participant, the author recorded this moment in literature, which was very important for the development of Minamata disease incident. Although this work has the characters of documentary literature, such as writing the patient's thoughts and life in patient's self-narrative tone, this writing method is called fictional kikikaki or fictional oral record by Ishimure, and it might directly quote Chiso's internal materials or patient's petition to the government and the companies, and so on. But it's also full of poetic language. The work begins with the prologue written in ancient Japanese, part of which reads, I have made the gaze of a bird, soon to die, deeper than my own, or I have encountered an insect crawling low in the ground as the sea splits open. As I drew near to the insect's manner of death, perhaps I finally become a member of humankind once more. Because of the time limit, I won't read it all. In this part of prologue, there are images of a dying bird and an insect crawling on the ground. So why do these images appear at the beginning of the work? There are some discussions in the previous studies about what the insect here refers to. For example, Wakamatsu believes that it symbolized all the life and the community of life. Anthropologist Okuno believes that it represents a species, and the prologue shows the multi-species world. Another example is Nakajima's belief that the insect symbolized patients who live at the bottom of society and die from Minamata disease. However, there is a sentence. As I drew near to this insect's manner of death, perhaps I finally become a member of humankind once more. What I noticed is the action of become, which means that prior to I becoming a member of human beings, I maybe have been one of the animals or plants. In addition, there is another sentence in the following text. Our ancestors were the parents of grass. Thereby, I think the human beings here are not a fixed biological species, but rather a mutable and highly unstable concept. One of the key expressions of this unstable concept is the word of kanjin in the work. Its Chinese characters meaning is non-human or inhuman, pronounced as hinin, but the author gave it a phonetic notation of kanjin. The original Chinese characters of kanjin was this. So this word was created by the author, and the contents, the ideas that the author wants to express. Therefore, I will center my analysis on the concept of kanjin present in this work, examine the relationship between human and animals through the text, and reflect on this significance. Since the time is limited, I will not analyze relationships between human and plants in this discussion. In the text, the meaning of his kanjin is beggar, which is a word used to describe the state of people sit in. For example, the patient said, would this make me a beggar in Tokyo? Sitting on the street and sleeping here. From the perspective of my hometown, I have become a kanjin. Minamata citizen said, those Minamata disease patients went to Osaka to become kanjin and make Minamata look embarrassed. As can be seen from the above text, the most superficial meaning of kanjin is to describe the state of sitting in. It comes from the pronunciation of the word kanjin, which means beggar. The second meaning is used to describe the condition as inhuman. For example, the patient said, although I said that I would become kanjin, human is also living things. Human will be sad if they got wet by rain and snow. The meaning of kanjin here is not beggar. The patient emphasized that human is also living things means not be treated as human. Therefore, there is a meaning of inhuman here. Another example is when a patient said, in Minamata, our tribe is also a remote village, and it's also it has become a kanjin disease village. All 5 members of the family have got kanjin disease, and they all become soulless people. The kanjin disease here obviously does not mean beggar's disease, because the patient said that the people with kanjin disease has no soul. So kanjin disease here can be understood as an inhuman disease. This meaning comes from the Chinese character expression, which is inhuman. The third meaning of kanjin is humble. For example, the lyric quoted by a patient are you coming to the poor's home? We are kanjin, you are good guys. And I quoted just now, in the eyes of people in the capital, we are rude people like filthy kanjin. They may be curious about why we come here even in normal times. Filthy here obviously has many negative connotation, not just unclean, because it contrasts with you are good guys, and the contrast can be seen between the capital and the countryside. This meaning comes from the pronunciation of hinin. Starting from the Edo period in Japan, under the status system of early modern shogunated system, the lowest class was called hinin. They usually live in the suburbs of cities or rural areas. Therefore, the hinin historically describes the humble people. The above 3 meanings correspond to the pronunciation kanjin Chinese characters notation and the pronunciation hinin respectively. However, in addition to the meaning of beggar, inhuman, and humble, the Chinese character also means non-human. In other words, it is a concept that cannot be summarized by the simple binary opposition of human or not human. For example, the second chapter, whose name is both kanjin, is written in the form of the patient's self-narrative. There is a passage. People on the land and the land are all separate to live. This is too restrictive for people who are used to living on the sea. As for which side I belong to, I have the disposition of a fish. When I'm in good health, I probably row across the river. Not only are there fish in the boat, but butterflies, birds, and dolphins will also come, and the boat guard will also follow. Some people might discriminate against us, but when we are on board, everything becomes beautiful and is different from the land. It can be seen that the text here tries to invert the original negative meanings of the kanjin. What's more, the author used the concert patient's self-narrative style in this chapter to increase the credibility of this logic to achieve this reversal effect. I think it can be read that the author wants to convey the positive meaning of kanjin and make readers think about the limits of the original concept of human and humanity and what is true human and what is true humanity. So later in the next chapter, when Kawamoto and the company president comfort each other, a more direct discussion about what a true human being is occurred. Kawamoto held a razor and asked the company president to cut his hand and wrote a request with his blood. He also asked the company president to join him. In turn, I will cut your hand, and we will do it together. Yes, you cut your hand to write a reply in blood. It would be great if we had the same pen together as human beings. Later, during the dispute, both the patient and the president's blood pressure turned to be high, but the company's doctor just says, "Hey, the company president is a human being too. You must respect human life and stop doing that." It can be seen that the patient standard for human beings is that they can feel the same pain, while the company standard is that they can't do things that harm their interest. On the other hand, if it harms the interest of a company, it breaks away the category of human beings. Why recalling the concept of human in this period? Due to the time limit, I will try to analyze it briefly. One important event was the Japan's ample protest in 1959, which Ishimure also participated in, and the second round occurred in 1970. During this period, the citizen politics was very popular in Japan, and the citizens demanded the political autonomy. However, the rural people and the people at the bottom of the society have gradually become a minority, and their rights have been ignored. Therefore, Ishimura emphasized that those people who discriminate against still exist, and they also have their own logic of life. So going back to the power. So we can see on the one hand, the fact is revealed that the patient have been dehumanized and animalized through the dialogue between patients and the companies. On the other hand, the text also shows that the patient's animality not only has the characters of being victim, but also contains a possibility to resist and invert the social value system represented by company and government. Then, where do this inverted power come from? As the text said that the power that invert the social value system may come from the connection with other living things. This connection allows people to understand the pain of other human beings and the living beings in this space for what makes people truly human. So going back to the prologue, as I drew near to this insect manner of death, perhaps I finally become a member of humankind once more. It can be thought that the insect is a Minamata disease patient who has been animalized. However, the image of the insect not only symbolized how poor the people at the bottom of the society are, but also means that they will still can be connected to other living beings. Positive and negative dominance and reversal are condensed into the word kanjin. Therefore, I think humankind here is more like a human being who can feel the pain of others as the patient said, rather than human beings who treat the common fate beyond life as represented by the company. The author believes that she is not helping Minamata's patients one-sided, but the patients are always reminding her of what a real human being is, even though it is hard to be one of them in this modern era. Ishimure is not only used literature to record a social movement or conduct a social movement as an environmentalist. She also explores explores in literature what human and humanity, the possibility contained in animality, and its significance in that area. So I think Ishimure's literature shows the huge possibilities of Japanese environmental literature. I hope that my research and insights shared in this presentation will help advance our understanding of Ishimure's literature and provide a base for further research in this area. Thank you for your attention and participation in today's report. I hope that my presentation has been helpful and informative for you. If you have further questions or suggestions, please feel free to comment or contact me at any time. Thank you.